I felt bad for you when you got injured. How'd you get into character?
Well, I got into character. There's a doc here, a doctor from Philadelphia, who walked me through the whole sort of brain trauma injury. Like he took me to a guy who had the exact same injury as I did, and then a guy who had been there for 2 years in physical therapy. And that's how, that's how I developed all his kind of mannerisms, the evolution of this progress from the shot to physical therapy to 2 years recovery.
What made you want to star in this picture, and what do you want the audience to get out of seeing it?
Oh, dude, what I love about this movie was the story is that anybody can be a hero, man. You can be Joe Schmo, Jose from East LA, or from the Lower East Side, and there's a hero inside of you. When you're pushed against the wall, you have a hero inside of you, and I love that message, man. Being the, coming from humble beginnings and proving that you can do anything if you set your mind to it. I love that message.
The last time I spoke with you was at Live Mansion, and I'm wondering, tell me a little bit about what's going on with that.
Live Mansion, well, they're still continuing to get funds and to create sort of like this opportunity to get actors who haven't had a chance or a big shot to try to become somebody, be discovered through the internet. Using the internet as a tool now to be discovered.
Speaking of internet, are there any websites you go on or anything like that?
That I go on?
Yeah.
Besides the porn? What else is there used for the internet? I guess I'd look up how to repair old houses, house restoration. That's kind of what I do. eBay, I buy a lot of shit on eBay.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, bud.
Sure, man.
Why do you want to tell this story?
I definitively felt that this story harkened back to films of the 70s with sort of a very classic feel of character and heart and great story, and I think a lot of that's been lacking in current cinema. Obviously, I think the great films that are made recently have that, and I felt this was an opportunity to definitively get back to recognizing what makes a movie great, and that's character and story. And it had a commercial sort of thriller element, and it dove into the soul and the heart of this man and his journey. So it was a real challenge, and I thought we were all up to it.
I had read about 50 to 60 scripts leading up to this, and I knew it just had the contents. It could be a little bit commercial, but yet a good enough character piece to kind of be respected in the industry. And basically, I think that's where people get lost in coming in the industry. They just want to do a movie right quick. But how you come in is how you're going to kind of leave or be thought about throughout the whole industry. And I knew that kind of going in, and I just took my time with it and wanted to do it right.
It's a little awkward, and it was very proud. It was like,
it was a little awkward.
The director, but it was more right. I was like, John. I was the one that got naked first, right? And I was like,
yeah,
John, take off your clothes.
But here, the best part about it was we lit the scene, and both Rosie and John came in and said, "Okay, too bright." So then we adjusted it and we did it again, and then they both came in and said, "Too bright." And we went back and forth for a while, and then eventually we realized that stylistically, and it's one of those creative moments that we went with it being darker, and I think in actuality it really served the piece really nicely and made it a bit more classier. So in this case, the actors knew a little bit more than the filmmakers.
Yeah.
So, but they're all filmmakers.
We have a lot of experience, so that counts.
I could have done without the big ass wipe scene.
I knew I was never going to hear the end of it.
Wipes the camera.
Well, thank God it's beautiful. That's all we can say.
It is beautiful. It's a very real, honest, raw scene between two people who are married and who are going through a really difficult time, who are not communicating. And when you see the movie, I mean, if you've ever been in an intimate relationship or long-term relationship, it's going to break your heart.
I play this guy called Marco, and what made me want to take the role was it's a guy who's torn about, torn between making a choice in his life and the betrayal of a buddy, and those types of levels was an interesting thing for me to explore, see what that was like.
How is it working with John? And his performance just blew my mind.
John's amazing, and it was a pleasure to work with him because he's a great improviser. We improvised a lot of stuff in the movie that him and I had, and Brad gave us that kind of freedom. So I think that's when a lot of magical things happen, is when you can just kind of riff off the cuff like that.
Why do you want to tell this story?
You know, I wanted to tell it because I wanted to tell a really intense story about interesting characters, and these day laborers, the lives that they go through, the trials and tribulations, they're intense and amazing and fascinating, and I wanted to highlight something about their lives, and they were just really fascinating. I couldn't help but make a film about it. Luis Chavez, amazing actor, works a lot, came from a friend of mine. He recommended Luis and Luis to me. He's not the kind of guy who would just do any film. Like, I had to really fight to get him. It was awesome. These two guys came also from friends. It was recommendations. It's really, you know, regular casting wasn't working. I needed to, like, you know, find the good people who just don't do stuff willy-nilly, and these guys rock.
My character is one of many. I guess, unfortunately, in Latin America, once you are like 18 years old or very young, you are asked by your parents to leave the country and go out and try to make a better life, not only for yourself, but also for you to make money here and send back to Mexico. So they miss out on a lot of things, especially the family, because they come by themselves and they have to live by themselves, and it is only a portion of all the immigrants that come to this country. I mean, it's not, yeah, we have immigrants from all over the world, but I guess in my case, the character being Latino, I am Latino, so, you know, that's all I can represent, you know, especially because my parents, they came here as illegal immigrants, and they gave me a better life, and I think that character is very close to me because of that reason. I do not have to come here illegally like my parents did, but it's very close to me because of that reason.
The whole thing about miscommunication, you know, it's kind of like a gray area. Like, there's not one really bad guy, like, you know, the white family, or, you know, is not the bad guy, or my character is not the bad guy. It was the whole thing about miscommunication. So a simple misunderstanding could lead to a big tragedy, like how these 2 days work.
They get involved in a little situation that changed their life, let's say forever. So this character is a character that is naive, he got a great sense of humor. He sees life as a happy place, and he sees involved in a situation like this that basically, like I said before, changes life forever.
Was there ever maybe a point in your career where you thought you'd give up and you wouldn't be successful, and just give some advice to people starting out?
Right from the beginning, I absolutely knew this is what I was going to do, and I didn't have any doubts at all. And then in the course of it, sometimes, you know, there's ups and downs, and when there's a down period, I decided, well, you just have to shift gears, change gears depending on the way it's all kind of going. And one of the things that was so great was when things were sort of went down and fallow for me in Hollywood, I decided to change over and go for independence. And the independent world has really become my home. So there can be good things that come out of things that feel like defeats.
How many sugars do you take in your coffee?
I do 2 equals. Not
any milk or anything? Or?
Yes. My favorite, oh, it's horrible. I like Coffee Mate and 2 equals. Really bad.
What are some projects that you have going on that we should look out for?
Oh, I've got a few things I'm working on at the moment. Some hosting things as well. I'm trying to dabble in the hosting arena because I've been doing hosting in London. So I've got a few things under my belt that I'm not wearing. But yeah, look out for it. Look at my MySpace page. I'll let everyone know my MySpace page. Rachel, can you look this way? Rachel?
What do you have coming up? What do I have to TiVo and DVD and all those?
Oh shoot! Well, it's I have some stage stuff coming up. The celebrity autobiography show that I've been doing, and I just got a play at the Westport Playhouse too. So.
Oh, neat. A friend of mine is not very funny.
Yeah.
How can I help my friend be funny? Do you have any initial tips?
Oh my God, that's really hard if they're not funny at all.
Yeah, even when he has a few drinks.
Well, people that aren't really funny, maybe if they don't try to be funny. I don't know. That's bad advice.
No, that's good.
There may be no hope. There may be no hope for him.
On this.
Oh yeah, if you just like.
Yeah, that old school.
There you go.
All right, yeah, son. Get him on film, man. To him.
Cheers.
To him, whoever he is.
The official Stella Artois bottle opener of the 2008 Gen Art Film Festival. His name is who?
Chris Mouch, presenting the White Lighter, which is now no longer unlucky.
First day on the set, when there was a shootout, and the cops tried to close our set down, and the next day the hair and makeup person quit. So we had to do our own hair. That's how committed she was. That's how far we were all committed. The first day, he quit, and we had to find another kid who played my son. And luckily he came along. But every day was like this. Every day was this tough. And yet Brad came through every single day.
When I started to shoot the take, before the scene in the hospital, the first thing we shot, I was supposed to go on to another movie with a huge director.
Who?
Ridley Scott.
Oh, wow.
So, but Ridley Scott didn't want me to have a mustache in his film. So Brad wanted a mustache in this. So I'm sitting in the trailer, and it's literally I'm sitting there with a woman with the clippers at the ready, and Ridley Scott is on the other end going, Brad Furman? Who the fuck is Brad Furman? And Brad's like, no, you look, and they're negotiating this, so, because the stash was longer. So the stash that you see is the stash that was negotiated between Brad Furman
I want to know how they made the little girl cry. I always want to know that whenever they have a little itty bitty girl cry.
How do you make the girl
Is the mom like, no more candy for the rest of your life, and then takes the little girl under her wing?
She didn't have the guts to ask the question, though. You know? But how do you make the little kids cry in movies? I don't know. You see it all the time.
Ask the two guys on either side of you.
How do you make little girls cry in movies, guys?
What you do is you stand behind the camera showing them pictures of dead puppies.
Free shoe, free shoe.
Hey, man.
I knew I'd find you here.
Don't take the credit. I told you to meet me here under Princess Leia, brother.
All right, now I want my exclusive now, okay.
Okay, well, now's a good time.
What is your favorite flower?
My favorite flower? I'm gonna say the weed, because it is the most resistant of all plant life. I feel like a weed myself. I feel like no matter what, I'm always there. And I'm dirty, and people try to pick me off, but I think I'm the most resilient.
I think
the pajama's gorgeous.
Yeah, and I think she needs to be the one to kiss him to prove that he's a wet kisser, which is my mother's theory.
I know, but she's...
So
my mission tonight is to get a peck on the cheek from John Leguizamo.
Yeah.
Because reality shows are very much about, what people's perceptions of you, not so much what you do. Or like if you look at Survivor people, you never really remember what they do. It's just how they were portrayed in the show.
You guys are showing your talents out there. How come some girl from like season 2 of Survivor gets booked on all these shows and she didn't do like anything? I don't get it.
Well, I think it just shows like where our priorities lie. It's a different thing between that and being in a bikini on a beach, having like challenges. People begin to care more about your character than what you do, and it becomes a problem.
Yeah, would have been better if they had you do challenges in order to get you couldn't get a cinematographer or a writer, or you couldn't edit if you didn't swim under the shark in like 10 seconds.
Yeah, I mean it's tough to do that because those problems come up with indie filmmaking in general. So, and I think that it takes more than, I mean, we had the restriction, we had like a week to make something. And I think that's a horrible restriction to have. Like, films take time. And you can see with some of the directors here, like, they spent a lot of time, a lot of care, there were a lot of problems. I mean, the reality of the whole process is behind the scenes stuff, but that stuff takes years. And I think anything that's worth doing has to take that amount of time to sort of sift, but that's not the way that the commercial industry works.
First award goes to our Stargazer. It honors an emerging talent.
Luis Chavez.
Rashid Tassani, today's work. And for our audience award for Best Feature, serves up to the Surprise Duck Pray.
The Acura Grand Jury Prize.
Right here. $5,000 for the winner, and you're the winner.
We're going to do Chicken Dance later. $10,000 going to our Acura Grand Jury Prize for Best Feature Film. In our hands, the winner of the Grand Jury Award for Feature. And I have to say that in the jury meeting the other day, it was really heated and kind of passionate and almost violent. And I think that's a great testament to the range of films because, you know, you should feel passionate about film and you should feel passionate about what you believe in. And this, I know the winner actually, that's why they asked me, because I felt very passionate about this film. And I think it's what Gen Art should be doing. It's supporting and nurturing talent that's not in the mainstream, that's trying to do something different. This film was innovative and inspiring. I'm very happy to say that the $10,000 of Wura is going to Jennifer Pan for Half-Life.
It is my pleasure to introduce MGMT. Give them a big hand.
5 minutes to stick for paint.
There's so many TVs and cameras, it's cool.
My footage feels complete.
This is it right here. It's another closing of another show. It's the end, the last night of the Gen Art Film Festival, and once again, an absolutely fantastic, incredible experience. Well done, Gen Art. Bravo. And now, as a bit of an outsider, I can say incredible, the most incredible, inspirational, not even entertainment event, but cultural entertainment, arts, and lifestyle cumulative event in the world is what this was tonight. Bravo, good job.
Good night.
Now I'm your dream. Sometimes I even dream of you. You want us to last forever, but I'm afraid that just won't do. I'm not a forever kind of girl. I've seen so little of the big, big world. Don't wait for me, I won't change my ways. I pray you find her one of these days. You're forever good.
My name is davidjr.com.